featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Portraits, featuring intimate, in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Portraits, Derrial Christon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live Portraits. I'm your host, Derrial Christon, and here joining me today is the lovely Courtney Stewart in pink.
What's up, everybody?
DJ Jesse J.
What's up?
And our very special guest today, you know him from shows such as Criminal Minds, Donovan, which is on fire. I mean, the crowds are loving the show. William Stanford Davis is with us today. How you doing?
Welcome.
Great, how you guys doing?
Good.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
You got
for
your
having
cool summer red shirt going on.
I'm digging the look right now, actually.
Just so I can be seen, so that I won't get mistaken for. But then again, they might mistake me for something I'm not supposed to get.
It is LA.
Right.
It is LA.
It is LA, right.
Yeah.
We're in Northern Hollywood, so I think we'll
You'll be okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Encino, be safe.
Encino.
You're safe.
Northern
You're
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
You're fine.
I like that.
You're fine. But you're from St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis.
Now, I was intrigued by hearing this. You started off in an R&B group where you were the front man.
Yes.
That's kind of your intro into the business.
Well, yeah,
Right.
we started out in high school and continued on into college, and we worked all the Midwest, Memphis, Kansas City, Chicago. We opened for the OJs, for all types of groups that came throughout St. Louis. And a lot of the guys went on to form their own bands. I have one friend who's over in Amsterdam. He lives in Amsterdam, Joe Bowie. He has a big band that's huge in Europe called Defunct. And most of the guys are either doing studio stuff or, they're still playing.
Defunct sounds very
What was the name of the band?
The band was called the Paramounts, the Fabulous Paramount Review. And
Fabulous Paramount
and
Review.
we had a girls group and a guys group, and then myself. I was kind of what they call the star of the show. And we did everything. We did everything from, of course, the Temptations and the Supremes with the guys and the gals, but we did, Sly Stone, James Brown, you name it. We made an attempt at it, and we were pretty successful at it.
Why'd the band break up?
We got old. Everybody kind of,
Music is never old.
What happens is, some guys went to Missouri University. I went to Lincoln University. Some guys went to school in the South. And what happened at Lincoln was a small but very large black school in mid-Missouri, which was known for music. Those of us that went to school together, we formed another group called Black Fire, and we continued to make music there. But, as you get older, I became interested in radio, and things just kind of changed.
Now, do you still currently play around with music, Eddie, and creating it, or?
No, I worked in radio for almost 15 years, and that became like a love. I thought I was going to be the next Frankie Crocker, But this is what I always wanted. I always wanted to come to LA and put my toe in the acting pond.
Well, I think you got all your toes in the acting pond.
You got the whole foot now.
Right, you moved from there into comedy, and I know that's kind of like where you got your fixation with acting.
Right.
But then, where did your real passion and love come from with acting?
It seems like, as far as I can remember, I go into a big black room with a lot of people, and I wanted to do what I saw those people do on stage ever since I was a kid. I think that being in music and being in radio were just kind of stepping stones to get here. It was just something I always knew that I wanted to do. I was married at the time, and unfortunately that didn't last, but I said, okay, now's the time to do it. Take the chance now or don't. And so I decided to come out here and, didn't look back.
And
as far as going from, from being the star of the show to then, with a live performance based, then moving into radio, which is more, it has an audience, but it's not that live kind of feeling. Do you ever miss that attention from that live audience?
Yeah, I miss it. In fact, it's hard for me to even listen to radio without a critical ear. All the time, I'm listening for dead air or mispronunciations and things like that. But yeah, it was something about being in radio, as you guys know, you become very powerful because you affect so many people. You affect thousands of people, and there are people I would see in the grocery store. Hey, oh man, we love the show, that type of thing. And I'd get fan mail from all over, places I didn't know. Who is this person in, Potosi, Missouri, whatever, that would hear the show. And you'd be surprised how many people you touch. And so along with that became, it made you a little more responsible.
Yeah.
You became a little more responsible. So, but yeah, I do miss it. I miss it a lot. But, it's changed, I was in what they call personality radio. So it was like, hey, what do you say? Everybody go, that type of thing. And now it's more like, unless it's talk radio like a Steve Harvey show or that type of thing, it's very robotic.
Yeah.
Very.
So.
And then nowadays they're getting rid of a lot of the DJs and VJs and everyone. So I know that's tremendously different from just the way a lot of us grew up. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here because of that fact too, I think.
Everything goes full circle. When I was in radio, believe it or not, I worked for a country western station in Texas. And the FM side of the station was automated. So I'd programmed the FM side of the station. It was R&B and disco. You guys too young to know what disco is.
Sure enough.
But,
We know what it is.
They brought it back for us. They brought it back.
Yeah, but so that X'd guys out of jobs. And the same thing is starting to happen now. Technology has changed, of course. Yeah, and it's changing sometimes for the better, but I like personality. I like the guys to talk to me and explain, tell me about the artist, tell me how they, all that stuff that they just don't do anymore.
Yeah, I still really enjoy like the Sunday top 40s when they do. You see, a lot of them are even older recordings, but I still love hearing it. So.
Right. In fact, I just heard on satellite radio they do all the old Casey Kasem shows.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yep, I listen to them.
And they're great.
They're great.
And I'll listen to them from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then now, with acting, one of your first major roles was on The Bold and Beautiful soap opera, which everybody loves that show. There's a lot of us still on. Even with reality show, it's still hanging on.
The last three seasons.
Bridge Forrester is still there.
I just went home and walked in on my grandmother watching it, and I was like, I could still pick up with some of the storylines, and I mean, it's been years.
Right.
You can hang them on.
And they say it's like the #1 show in somewhere in Europe, France, or Italy, or someplace. A friend was just telling me it's the #1 show in Europe, and I still get little tiny checks from it.
Hey, tiny checks are good. That's still a check.
Still a check. Yeah.
Still a check. And what was it like working on that set?
Like that, quick, fast, in a hurry. And I was having this discussion with another actor friend of mine. I think that every actor should do soap, because what it does, it challenges your muscle. It gets you to the place where you have to be off book and know what you're doing, not second guess yourself and go. Sometimes it's a machine.
And then I've heard you could possibly get up to 50 to 100 pages that you have to do in a day.
And then changes.
And then change.
And then changes. And it teaches you to be off book, trust yourself, and go, not second guess. And it creates, I think, a discipline that a lot of actors just don't have.
How did you prepare for that coming into it? Like, you first role, you're out here. Had you been in classes? What made you ready for that?
That's a good question. I just trusted myself. I'd been working with some different teachers and coaches, and I got this call, said, you got this job, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And the thing about it too is that I went in there, not knowing how soaps worked, and I thought we were going to get a couple of takes, run through a couple of rehearsals. They took the rehearsal take and, okay, moving on.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, is that it? And, so that it was a valuable lesson. But, I don't think anything can prepare you for working in soaps, though.
Even theater?
Theater.
Because isn't it somewhat slightly similar? Because theater is just
live.
Theater.
I love theater more than any of the mediums because you get a chance to recreate it every day. Every day is like a brand new day. I don't care how great you were the day before. That doesn't count. It's true. It's a new day. But yeah, theater makes you good. I have this saying where I said TV makes you rich, film makes you famous, but theater makes you good. It really makes you learn your craft and perfect it. And so, yeah, I would say that helped me a lot with the soap, you know.
And then from there, you moved on to a lot of TV shows, guest appearances from Angel to The Practice, NYPD Blue, CSI, The Closer. What was one of your favorite shows that you got to guest star on?
Wow, that's a good question.
Angel.
I like.
I was going to say it was my pick.
I love working on Lincoln Heights because he was a character that I could I fully realized, and the only thing I regret that it was not on network. It was on ABC Family. Yeah. I played a homeless guy on The Closer that I enjoyed. You know, he was a lot of fun. But I think, looking back on the roles and comparing them to Potato Pie, I think I love Potato Pie. He's got so much heart.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, fans obviously think so as well because they're loving the show.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at things now. We talk about this a lot on the show with African Americans. We're seeing a trend where it seems like we're getting a lot more roles. There's a lot more television opportunities. We have Shonda Rhimes, of course, who's doing her thing.
Yeah.
You have Ava, who is just killing it now as well.
Right.
And certain shows such as like Empire are starting to really get recognized in Blackish. What do you think? Do you think that this is a trend, first of all, and do you think this is something that's going to continue, or if it's just like, okay, Black is in right now, and a year from now it's going to be something else that's in?
I think that if the producers are smart, it's not just a trend. That it seems like the powers that be are starting to realize that this is a multicultural society, and it's being represented by everyone. I mean, there should be more Asian shows, there should be more Latin shows, and definitely more Black shows. I mean, I'm hoping that Black is not just the end color right now, but got more Black producers than we've ever had.
Yeah.
Black directors, Black DPs. You got over 500 networks now. I mean, with cable and Netflix and different things. So I would hope that this is not a trend. I'm hoping that someone has gotten smart and decided, these people, not only can they act, they're excellent, amazing artists, and they need to be represented,
Yeah, and then, we also see that there's not so many Black dramas on TV. You were on Lincoln Heights, which was obviously a Black drama, and it lasted from 2007 to 2009, and a lot of people were upset that show ended because it was, racially charged. It really spoke about a lot of issues, and it showed a Black family that most middle America Black people could relate to.
Yeah.
Why do you think that the Black drama has more trouble staying relevant in this industry?
It's a lot of things. I think that, especially when you have a Black drama where the Black man is the head of the house, and I thought that Lincoln Heights, I used to say, and I hope that I'm not getting out of line here, Lincoln Heights was like Cosby meets The Wire, and as long as you had someone like Bill Cosby who was funny and and he's this funny dad, it was safe.
Yeah.
Even though Eddie or Russell's character was a policeman, it's kind of tough for at that time, even we're talking just 3-4 years ago, people to see a strong Black man who loves his family, who protects the community. It's just still, that doesn't happen. And I grew up with that. I had someone say to me the other day, well, you played a role Catholic. Well, there was 5 Catholic churches in my neighborhood. I think that people are afraid of what they don't know, but I think with shows like Lincoln Heights, Empire, Blackish even, they're starting to see that we're all just alike.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I know you mentioned something about it being on ABC Family, that kind of was a reason in it kind of not working, in the sense of maybe if it was on a different network channel? Because ABC Family at that time too, especially, it was very driven towards a much younger audience.
Yeah. I think that if it had been on network, or even if it had been on like a Showtime on HBO, it would have lasted a lot longer. And they
even
would
like
have
a
been
TBS
or even a TBS or a TNT. They would, or they would have been able to do more with it. It would have had more it had stronger legs, so to speak. They could have dealt with some issues, some real issues, which they tried to deal with, but they still had to keep it kind of fluffy, you know. But I thought that it was cast very well, of course, because I was part of it.
Of course.
They did it right.
But the young actors on it, I was really amazed at some of the work they were doing.
What shows right now on TV are you blown away by?
Oh man, I love Mad Men.
Yeah.
I love Mad Men. I can't, I'm kind of really upset that it's coming to an end. I like Homeland. Of course, I like Empire and Blackish, but I'm more attracted to episodic dramas. Of course, I like Ray Donovan.
BHL. What would you like to work on for the shows that you enjoy?
I would love to work on a show like Mad Men, a period piece. Right now, there's so much out there that I'm just trying to think of this. I'm get kind of overwhelmed.
It is a lot of TV.
It's a lot of TV.
I'll tell you what I really, really like. I like House of Cards.
Great show.
And I would love to work on a show like that.
Yeah. Well, we're putting us all out in the universe.
A period
That's
drama.
right. Period drama, House of Cards.
Yeah, House of Cards.
Love it.
Fincher, Mr. Fincher, David Fincher. I just went up for something for him. Let me knock on wood because we haven't heard yet.
Okay.
Well, we're putting out good vibes for you.
Vibes,
For sure.
good vibes.
And then in the last 5 years, you worked a lot on some of the shows you've talked about, but also other top shows such as Bones, Shameless, Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory, yeah.
What have you seen about television's landscape that's changed since you started to where it is now?
They take more risks. Even shows, we used to think of CBS as your grandma's network, but to me,
so true.
CBS takes more risks than all the other networks, with shows, or definitely with their comedies, but with someone with a guy with the Taraji used to be on.
Person of Interest.
Oh, Person of Interest. And they're bringing her back,
Yeah,
actually.
they're bringing her back.
They're bringing her back. I thought she was killed.
No, they left
Some
it.
kind of way they're bringing it back. Yeah, I thought she was killed too.
I thought she was, but there's articles out that she's coming back.
She's coming back. Yeah.
I think that they're taking more risks. They're starting to be more grounded in reality. If you go to Europe, I mean, nudity is like nothing. They have commercials with nudity and language. I mean, they talk like the people that they're trying to sell the products. They speak to them. And here we still have a puritanistic judo Christian.
Very puritanical.
I don't want to insult anyone's belief, but a lot of times that kind of filters into the decision-making process. This won't play well in mid-America, or this won't play well here. And I think that TV is starting to, and I think for network to keep up, they're going to have to. Yeah. They're going to have to do some of the things that you see on HBO, some of the things that you see on Netflix. Create that type of programming.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's going in that direction. At this point with social media, we pretty much have seen everything. I don't know what I haven't seen really on television. It seems like it's really trying to push that envelope. Will we ever get full nudity?
Even words, I'm surprised what they allow on TV.
Yeah, and it's, still the big three, they're still kind of, because once again, they're seen everywhere, but they do realize too, to bring in younger people, to bring in other, cultures, it's about dollars more than it's about anything else. Yeah. They're gonna have to do something to compete, and not just that you need nudity or language, but being grounded in reality. Put a real show on about real people, not a reality show, but something about real situations. And what we find is that I don't care what color you are or, religion or whatever, we all have the same thing. We love our kids, we love our parents, we cry at funerals, we have misfortune, we have good things that happen to us, Mm-hmm. And I think if they start programming with that in mind, it might have a little bit of bringing us together too, because we see that we're all just alike.
Funny you say that because I just read an article about Empire, and they had said that watching the show, they brought such a realistic mentality to the show
Right.
that no one even realized that the N-word was never used in a world of music where that word is so
thrown around.
Every other word. Yeah.
Every other word.
and nobody thought about it, that it wasn't used or that it was missing or anything like that until after the fact. But because of
4-letter word.
because they approach the storyline with, like you were saying, that realistic mentality.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
With all the changes that have occurred in this industry, what keeps you excited and motivated about being an actor?
I think just that, the changes, the fact that things have changed and a lot for the better. I stay hopeful even at my age. They talk about it being youth-oriented, but I think that the fact that it is evolving and it's about every human being that's on the planet, and we're starting to see more of that in programming. So that keeps me motivated. I work with a lot of young actors. I coach and teach, and that helps. That keeps me kind of motivated when I see them have breakthroughs. When I see them go out, I booked the job, Stan. I booked the job, that type of thing. So those types of things, because you can get jaded. You get it's the same old thing. But I think with programming, I think with ageism is and sexism is kind of starting to be swept under the rug. Not quite, but it's starting to be. I think there's still some hope for old guys like me.
I'm glad you actually brought that up, because talking about the ageism situation, have you felt, or obviously our country is actually kind of getting older at this point. We have baby boomers that are sort of retiring things. So that exactly. So that market still exists, and it's healthy and wants entertainment and has money to spend in ways that maybe it didn't exist in the past. Have you seen a legit sort of change in terms of the ageism and feeling like there's more opportunity?
Yeah, I have seen it. I mean, baby boomers changed the world, and they still need to know that. You've seen these commercials about baby boomers and how they're still doing, they're still going to parties and dances and concerts and things, and they're still making decisions about what happens. They're gonna have to understand that, they still got a lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
They still got a lot of money to spend. They talk about the kids spend more money. I know a lot of adults who love to go out and just, have a good time, But, and I think that TV, film, music is going to have to reflect that,
Yeah. And then what do you think, because you've been in this industry for a while, what do you think it takes to have a longevity in this business, in your career? Whether it's music, whether it's, entertainment as a whole.
I saw this interview with Miles Davis before he died, and he said something. He said, man, if I played almost let it slip out. If I played the stuff that I played in 1960, I would like to shoot myself in the head. I think you have to keep evolving, and always try something new, always take risks. Evolve with the times, I should say. Yeah.
And
how do you feel like you're attacking that for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I am. I listen to everything. I listen. Someone says, "Well, who's on your iPad?" I got everything from Jay-Z to the Philharmonic on there. So I want to be abreast of everything that's going on, but I also want to honor the past. I also want to stay hooked into that. Yeah, I'd love to have heard Miles play, Kind of Blue, but I also like to hear him play Time After Time, So, I just think that, and I watch the youngsters.
Yeah.
I watch the youngsters. They teach me a lot.
Is there someone in particular who you see right now that stands out to you that you can see having a long career in this business?
I like Kevin Hart.
Kevin's killing it. Kevin's paid his dues, and he can't do any wrong right now.
Works hard.
And he works hard.
He works hard. I think he's very funny. I think he's very smart. I think we might see it evolve into drama. I think comedians take risks that other actors sometimes. If you look at Robin Williams or Richard Pryor, they played drama equally as they did comedy.
They did.
And I think if Kevin allows himself to do that, he could be a major,
Well, we've joked about it on the show.
Yeah.
We would love to see him do something like that because I think it would just, first of all, he's already super talented, but to see him change it to a completely different dramatic role, it would just put him in a different category all the way around.
Altogether.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I like him. There's so many young actors whose work I'm just blown away by, oh my God. He's one. What's this kid's name? Now I'm starting to show my age. Anyway.
That's all right.
We all do that.
we
We like
listen.
put on the spot.
I know.
What's the name? What's the name?
And then you are obviously, you're playing Potato Pie on the hottest show, very critically acclaimed show right now, Ray Donovan.
Right.
When you first saw the script for the show, what attracted you to the role?
His relationship with Terry and his relationship with all the Donovans, because I don't treat all of them equally. I'm really close to Terry, and the writing I thought was just amazing. The writing was really honest and it had a lot of heart to it. And I love the dysfunction of the family. That attracted because it kind of reminded me of my own family in a lot of ways. But I thought the writing was really, really good. And the character, this guy, gave me a chance to really create a special character, someone who has heart, but who's been there, an ex-boxer, someone who knows the streets, but he still has a moral compass.
And what did you use to kind of create that character for yourself? Is there someone that you sort of amplified, or did you just kind of?
He reminded me a lot of my paternal grandfather. He says a lot of the things that he would say. Even the way he cooks and he tells stories. He told a story in season 1 about his Aunt Keefe and things like that. I used to hear these silly, crazy stories from my grandfather, But that's who I used to kind of mold the character. Use a lot of the stuff that I used to see him do, a lot of his habits, the way he walked, the little curmudgeonly thing that he had, I stole that from him. So it's like an homage to him.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned earlier that, you and the cast, you can't go anywhere without being mobbed by all the fans there. Why do you think that the fans are so receptive to the show and the writing?
The show, it's just the writing's good. I think it's honest. It's real, it's sexy.
Yeah.
It's sexy. And I think that it appeals to every part of society right now. African Americans, white, young, old. I think it has something for everyone. And I think, too, it has that glamorous side of Hollywood, and it has the underbelly of it that people don't know anything about. And I think that kind of it interests people. It strikes an interest in everyone. Yeah, especially that dark side.
It's the dark side.
Yeah, it's really about the dark sides, and
We love the dark side.
Yeah, we do. That's exactly it. We do. We love it.
What can you tell us about the next season?
Not much, because I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, a little
Like a
peek
little
or something.
peek.
I'm trying to keep my job.
Look, he conveniently sipped his water right on that one right there.
It's going to go in a totally different direction than it has gone. I can tell you that.
All
No,
right.
it's good that this. Katie Holmes is going to be a part of the show.
I read that.
Ian McShane. I can tell you that much. And sorry, I can't tell you much more than that because I want to keep working.
Yeah, we want you to keep working.
We want you to keep
Yeah,
working.
we want that.
We love it.
I think it's probably the best season so far.
Great.
Okay.
And it's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of things right from episode 1 this season. You're going to be, oh my God, I didn't see that coming.
I like that.
Yeah, and I can tell you that much.
Well,
that meant, like, we all are like,
Like, ooh.
I'm trying to think.
Right.
of
I wanna-
Without
I gotta finish a couple
spilling the beans.
episodes.
Like, where? Okay.
You know, when
What's
I go with
Katie
my
gonna
wife
add?
is like, well, what happened? Let me read the script. No, you can't read the script. You know, you can't see the script. You know, in fact, I keep it in the trunk of my car. You know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In dinner.
you think you keep it in the trunk of your car, and then she's
No,
going like,
yeah,
she's going to Ralph's and like popping your trunk real quick.
But you know, all of our friends, everyone, you know, what's gonna happen? What's gonna, you know? And I'm like, I can't tell you. Besides, if I did tell you, it would spoil it for you. I'd love for you to see it. You know, I want you to see what's gonna happen. I want you to feel it. You know, and all I can tell you is Ray's still doing what Ray does. And Mickey's still doing what Mickey does. You know?
I know we've had
And that
some,
affects everybody in the show.
All the group.
It affects Abby, it affects the kids, it affects the brothers, and it affects me.
I know we've had some people come in and talk about their work, and how is it for you watching yourself back?
Mm-hmm.
It used to be really, I'm still very critical, you know. When you work around people who are, I always encourage actors to work with someone who's, I hate to use the word better, but it has more experience than you've had. It challenges you to step up.
Yeah.
And what's happened working the show is that I'm not as critical. I just trust what I do now. And I usually believe it. You know, when I see it, I'm like, okay, that's honest. Because that's all I'm really trying for is to really be honest, you know. When I first started, it was like, oh my God, you know, it's like working radio. It took me a long time to hear, you know, the first time you hear your voice on the tape recorder.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, wow, I sound like that, you know. And that's the way it was, like, wow, you know. But now I'm not as critical. You know, I try to trust myself, use my instincts, and understand that, okay, you can't do anything about it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. It's there forever.
Yeah.
You know, so I just try to tell the truth. You know, tell the truth. I try to understand. This is something I try to instill in young actors, so that if they do see themselves, life is a sensory experience. We can't do anything without it being filtered through our five senses. If I'm honestly in the moment, I'm seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, hearing, then I'm gonna be in the truth. You know, and that's what I try to do all the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you know, and try to take risk, make risky choices, you know, if you get an opportunity to do that, you know. So watching the playback, I'm not as critical as I used to be. I can watch it now on the monitor and see, okay, that didn't work, I'll try something else. That's one of the real cool things about TV and film. You can, okay, I got one more take. And now I'm getting to the place where I can say, hey man, I want to do another one.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I've earned that.
Feel it.
Yeah, I've earned that. I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Let me do another one. You know, where before I'd be like, okay, thank you.
Can I do it? Is that it? You want me to leave now?
But no, you know, yeah, you know, and that's the other thing that I try to instill in young actors. This is can I say ass?
Yes.
I just said it.
Yeah.
This is a CYA business, cover your ass business. So you got to look out for yourself. You got to really make sure that you're being seen in the best light possible, and you don't have to be rude about it, but you can let them know that, you know, I got another one. Can I try just
do
one
something
more?
better.
You know, something better. And most of the times, most directors, if they don't feel like they have it, if they, oh, we got it, we loved it, you know, you have to trust that. But most of them say, okay, let's do one more.
Is Tyler Perry, I know you work with him on
Yeah.
If Loving You Is Wrong, is he one of those people that will let you kind of do another take, or does he have a full focused vision of what he wants? And then
He pretty much
that's it?
has a full focused vision of how he wants things to go. He runs a tight ship, and Tyler is the closest thing I've seen to like soap in terms of a lot is given on any given day, and they just, you know, they run nonstop. You know, they run nonstop. Soaps, you might have 10 pages, you know, you might have 15 pages sometimes. And he's similar to that, and he does a lot of scenes in a day, you know. And he's the captain of his ship.
He is the captain of his ship, and many ships.
Many ships. He's
Many
the captain
ships.
of the ship, and he's very successful at what he does, so if it ain't broke, Don't fix it.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Don't Fix It, I mean, he has been criticized a lot for some of the stereotypes that plays on some of his shows. What do you think about some of those comments that have been made about from the Medeas all the way down to if Loving You Is Wrong to, Meet the Browns? It's been a lot of conversation
Put me
back
on
and
the
forth
spot in
about
the sense that, I'm hopefully still working with the guy. I'm in agreement with a lot of it, that I think that, how do I say it in a diplomatic way? Some of the things are stereotypical, and some of the things are the way it. If you're gonna show black people, show every type of black person. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Don't just show. We go to church, and some of us don't go to church. Some of us are doctors, and some of us are janitors. Show every aspect of the human condition, and I think that if he starts doing that, some of the flack that he gets from his people that are his detractors, I think that'll stop. But I think he just shows kind of one aspect of it, and that's once again through his own lens.
Yeah.
But I think that we are 360 degrees. We get upset. We have moments of doubt. We have victorious moments. We do everything that a human being can do, and I think that he should pay attention to that.
What type of character do you feel is lacking right now in television for African Americans that you would like to see come full front?
Still, no real strong black men. Got a couple, but I'd like to see a strong black man who hasn't been a drug dealer, who uses his drug dealing ability to become a head of a music empire. And I'd like to see a black man who's not, I won't say a buffoon, but someone who's
without
just
the comedy aspect.
just someone who's a real person. A real honest. I grew up in a neighborhood where there were teachers and lawyers and hairdressers. That's what my mother used to call them, beauty salons. Guy on the dry cleaners, a black pharmacist. As I said earlier, we can be everything that human beings can be. And I think that there's still a fear of the strong, and strong black women too. I think that but there's still a fear of that strong black head of the house, typically a black man.
Yeah. Courtney, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's kind of a long-winded question. How do you sort of see, because we were talking about Tyler Perry and the criticism that he's received, how much, I guess, responsibility do you feel is fair on an individual artist, including yourself, in terms of having to sort of show that 360-degree situation, or do you think it's more of an issue because there is no balance? Because right now, still now actually, Tyler Perry being probably one of the most powerful producers of black content in the business, if it were balanced out and it actually existed on other stations, that there were other aspects that we got to see a little bit more of, maybe would his responsibility be less, or do you still feel sort of each individual artist's responsibility is to sort of give that full picture?
That's a good question. I don't think he's responsible, but I think that we know how many, just take the big three, how many black shows are on. Mm-hmm. So I think he's taken the mantle himself to do it, but I think that he needs to show every aspect. One thing that I love about Tyler, when I went down to Atlanta to work for him, it's like, it looks like Africa, so many black people working. I'm like, whoa. Everything.
It was like boomerang. Boomerang on set.
Serious, man. It's like, from the drivers to the caterer, you name it, And there's white people there working too, but I had never seen that out here, Mm-hmm. I think that it has to be balanced. I think that every network, we have, like I said, we have so many now, and it has to be more than just MTV, hip hop, comedy, Yo Mama, and that kind of stuff. I think, and all that's good too. It has its place, but I think that there's so much room for so much more. everything. You know, every network still, you could put this old Gil Scott-Heron joke. He says you could put all of his black friends in the trunk of a car and still have room for the Republican elephant. He was talking about a politician back in the day. You could put all the black folks on television in the trunk of a car and still have room for all the circus elephants out there. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, you know, there's so much more room, you know, and we spend money and we have power, and I think we as collectively and individually, we should start exercising that more too, because we could change things. Yeah,
because statistically, they are showing us that we have power right now.
Power.
You know? And then now we're wrapping up, but theater's played a key aspect of your life and in your career, and I know you were talking about how important it is to go back to the theater.
Right.
What do you think it is for you as far as like what type of play would you like to do outside of what you've already done? I know you've done Fences, and I know you've had Cages and The Old Settler. What else would you like to be in?
I directed The Old Settler. I was just talking to a friend of mine out in the green room about working together. I love August Wilson. I love everything that he's done. Amazing. You know, what makes me sad is when I go to the theater, like say I go to the Mark Taper, and it's, once again, I don't want to just, you know, disparage anyone. Go to Mark Taper and it's 20 black people in the audience. But if I go to see Medea or somebody at, you know, the Kodak or something, and it's jam-packed. You know, I want to do. I love to do. Jitney on Broadway. It's never been done on Broadway. Okay. I'd like to play Becca on Broadway. So let's put that out in the universe.
Let's put that out there. We got a lot of stuff we put out there.
And so many other things, you know, so many other things. But that's the role right now that I would love to do on Broadway. It hasn't been done on Broadway. It's been done off Broadway. It's been done regionally. But it's one of his plays that hasn't been done actually on Broadway yet.
Well, how's your work on stage influenced you in your television career?
I'm sorry?
How's your work on stage influenced you in your television career?
It's taught me to take risks. It's, as I said, theater makes you good. It's taught me to challenge myself. It really helped me to stay in the moment. And one of the things that coaches, and one of my mentors is a guy named Martin Landau. Marty's won an Oscar for Ed Wood. He's one of my teachers over at the Actors Studio. And they used to get on me about rushing. And what theater's done is taught me to really take my time and live every moment to the end until something happens, something else happens. You know, that's what we do as human beings. Sometimes it seems like it's like this, but every moment that we live as human beings is special and specific. Even if I do that and fly, that's because something made it happen. And that's what theater's taught me, to really live in the moment and realize every moment to the very end, all the way through.
And if you could use one word to define your career, what would it be?
Still happening. That's 2 words.
I'll take that.
Ongoing.
We'll push it together.
Ongoing. Yeah. That's one word. I like that word, Well,
where can fans find you on social media to know more about Ray Donovan and everything else you're doing?
I'm at Stan Davis on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Stan the Man, with an H, STAHN. DAMAHN.
And do you actually tweet back? You'll tweet back your fans?
Oh, tweet back all the time. I tweet back, and I'm on Facebook at William Stanford Davis.
Love it.
Courtney, where can your fans find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet.
Jesse?
Everywhere at DJ Jesse J.
You can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. We cannot wait to see you on the next season of Ray Donovan and all your other projects. And let us know when you have a play coming here, because we'll all attend.
I'll make sure.
For sure.
I'll make sure you guys come.
Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Portraits.
Peace.
See you soon.
The views expressed here are those of the
From
host only.
producers Maria Menounos, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.